Showbiz is a cruel and shallow money trench, a long plastic hallway where thieves and pimps run free and good men die like dogs for no good reason. There's also a bad side.
This is the Backseat Mogul Show, live here from Rough Edge Studios. I am R. Scott Bolton. I am the Backseat Mogul, and this is the show where we talk about show business. Doing this kind of lesser quality audio version today because our computer is really being a jerk. And the internet just went out. It looks like it's back up now. So we're having one of those wonderful days. But anyway, I did want to do a show today because there's a big event coming on July 27th and 28th here in Santa Paula. By the way, first of all, JohnyD is sitting over there.
Good morning.
Right. First thing I told him, don't use the microphones because they're dead. First thing he does, lean into the microphone. No, if you're going to talk to this microphone.
Good morning.
You don't have to lean in. So anyway, at the end of this month, July 27th and 28th, here in Santa Paula, they are having the first annual Santa Paula Film Festival. And there are 19 films in contention. Most of them are short films. There are at least 3 feature films. I've watched several of these already because I am a judge on the panel of the Santa Paula Film Festival. Very excited about that. They're mostly movies that are made by people who are either young filmmakers or new filmmakers, but there are some veterans in there as well. There's one film that stars Sally Kirkland as Sally Kirkland, so I haven't seen that one yet, but I'm looking forward to see that. There's also a short film called Stairway to the Stars, which features Sean Young. And when's the last time you saw Sean Young?
It's been a while.
Been a long time. So tickets are only $10 a block, and there's 4 blocks on Saturday and 3 on Sunday. So or you can get a 2-day pass for $50. So if you want to see all of them, $50. You see every film that's on the list there. There's a full list of the films at SantaPaulaFilmFestival.org, which is where I would be if the internet was working right now. But let's see. It says that it might be back up. Let's see if I can get in there. We can talk about some more of the films. I'm just very excited that we're having this kind of event in Santa Paula. You know, it's film festival is always great, and to have one here locally like this. I mean, the big film festival in this area, of course, is the Santa Barbara Film Festival, right, which is huge. But this is exciting to have this one here in Santa Paula. So here's the very exciting stuff. Looking forward to seeing this all. $50, SantaPaulaFilmFestival.org. And, the voting is going on, and we'll see what the awards are for the different categories. Categories that are going to get awards include, of course, Best Overall Picture, and Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Writer, those kind of things. The same kind of things you see before. Mm-hmm. And that'll mean something coming from the Santa Paula Film Festival. So, anyway, I wanted to bring that up first because I thought that was pretty exciting news. So that's the weekend of July 27th and 28th at the historic Santa Paula Theater Center. Showings begin at 11 a.m. every day, and with all those films, $50 for that. It's a bargain, and you get to see a lot of movies. So please check that out and see make time to come out there and see the film festival. So anyway, I thought that was kind of good news.
A big question: our good buddy Kyle Acosta, did he submit something? He's an excellent director.
He did not, and had I thought about it soon enough, I might have reached out to him. His film is already out, though, and it may already be available on television, and if it is, I don't think it's eligible. It's most film festivals, if you've already released your film, it's not eligible for the festival. So,
but check out Kyle Acosta. He is on Facebook. His last name is spelled Acosta. He is really a good director.
The thing I like about Kyle is he's a maverick. He does things his way. He does things the way he wants them done, and he worries about costs later. And what I mean by that is there's something he wants done, he does it that way, right, and he figures out a way to make it happen. Kyle said, he's a great filmmaker, very young filmmaker, but if he had a film in this, I would definitely be watching it for sure. And I haven't seen his latest one.
I haven't either.
But I'm looking forward to seeing that. Kala Casa. Anyway, again, SantaPaulaFilmFestival.org. Please check it out, and I'll see you down there.
All right. That's you said the 27th and 28th?
27th and 28th of July. So that's later this month, and it's on a Saturday and a Sunday. Johnny's making a note. Why are you showing me the Tequila and Taco Festival?
Because that's going on today.
What does that have to do with show business?
Think about it. Tequila and tacos. Go down there with a camera. You're going to get some good comedy.
That's YouTube stuff, though.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's entertainment.
Yeah, to a certain degree. In other news, we got the news, and it's bad news, that Kevin Costner's Horizon Part 2 will not be in theaters. They pulled it from the schedule. Now, the studio is playing it safe. They're saying that they want to give the new movie, the first movie, time to season with audiences. Time to people to see it. The problem with that is people aren't going to see it. It's not doing... It went from number 3 to number 5 this week at the box office. Now, it only dropped by 50%, which is not a bad drop for a second weekend. Not a great drop, but most things like that drop about 60 to 65%. So it's not bad. But when your first weekend's 11 million...
Yeah.
That's gonna hurt. So
I quite enjoyed it. Again, it's a long movie, but I love westerns, and I enjoyed it. I really
did too, and I'm sad that this is happening because I think it deserves better. Again, it's flawed. I don't think it's a perfect film by any choice, by anybody's idea, especially that coming attractions thing at the end that just throws you off with the whole thing.
I didn't realize that was coming attractions.
Yeah, well, what else could it be? It couldn't be that.
Yeah.
They don't end the movie in 3-second flashes, So it's and that was unfortunate. And also, it's so sprawling and so big that sometimes you got mixed up with who the characters were. Mm-hmm. Wait, where'd this guy come from? Where's this guy from? And it was kind of hard to follow to that point as well. As I said before, the studios wanted him to do a TV series. Mm-hmm. They're probably going to get their wish. My hunch is they're going to go back and recut Part 2 and Part 3, which is already in production, and make them a mini-series or something like that. Because that makes sense. That will actually work better. So, they did this for a different reason with that big movie Australia with Hugh Jackman and Nicole Kidman. Mm-hmm. Years later, the writer-producer turned it into a miniseries. And it worked out pretty well, as a matter of fact. This can work and will work. And I just don't see it. They say it's going to be put back in the schedule later. I don't see that happening. I don't see it going back to theaters, and that's unfortunate. That's where it deserves to be seen, but it's not going to happen. They'll either end up streaming the movie in its entirety, or they will cut it into pieces and make a series out of it, which would have done much better, by the way, I think, in my opinion. So what else? What have you been watching, Johnny?
Lately, I've been catching up on some old TV shows. I've started rewatching the original Jag series. I watched the pilot, and as I'm watching the pilot, which was actually episode 1, it's like, I don't remember this. Oh, yeah, I remember that. But I quite enjoyed the TV show Jag. It was from the mid-'90s, I believe, is when that first came out. 95, something like that.
Where are you watching that at?
On Prime Video. Oh. Amazon Prime Video.
That's one of the things I really like about streaming, is that you can go back and see things that you haven't seen in ages and ages and find it and watch it. So that's actually very good news. I'm
still watching Murdoch Mysteries, which is a Canadian show.
BDA?
And it's a period piece. I believe it started out in the late 1890s, and they're in the early 1900s now. I think I'm on season 14 or 15. And they've managed to keep most of the original cast, which I really like. And because you watch episodic TV, and you get used to not just a character, but the actor playing that character. And then, for whatever reason, the character is still there, but the actor has changed, or they write the character out.
They don't often do that, do they? Where they have the same character stay, but a different actor. I know it happens, but it's not often, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And sometimes if they keep the character but a different actor, it loses a lot.
You realize you're still talking to the mic, right?
Yes, I did. I just did. As I'm leaning in, I just did. Because I'm trying to do my notes too, and then
yeah, it's a little confusing today, that's for sure. Next week, I'm going to start a new segment. We're going to do a little preview of it right now, but it's going to be, is it bad as they say it is? And
sometimes it's worse.
And yeah, well, we'll see. So I watched a movie this week, and it was called House at the End of the Street. And I watched it because it's Jennifer Lawrence is in it, and Elizabeth Shue, who I love. Elizabeth Shue, she's amazing. It's about a house. They moved to a small town, and the house next door to them, in that house, the daughter of the family had murdered the parents. And so she's apparently locked away, and the son lives there by himself. So, of course, all people at school thinks he's a freak or whatever because he's still living in his house. But, his parents are murdered and his sister's away. But is that really what's going on? Well, I'll let you decide on that. But I decided to watch it because, as I said, Jennifer Lawrence and Elizabeth Shue, definitely worth watching. And 12% Rotten Tomatoes rating.
Ooh.
12%. 31% on Metacritic. And 5.5 out of 10 on Internet Movie Database. So, is it as bad as they say it is? In this case, it is.
How old is it? Because I'm
it's
thinking
from 2000. I want to say 2007, 2012.
Okay, because I was going to say I remember that title, but not recent.
I've been watching a lot of these obscure movies that have fallen off the radar, and that's how I came up with this concept. Because there were a couple of Liam Hemsworth movies that I watched that had really bad reviews, but they weren't half bad. I watched an Al Pacino movie that was silly. It was called 88 Minutes. But,
I remember that title.
But it has like a 13% or worse. Let me look it up right now. Rotten Tomatoes rating. And you know what? It wasn't that bad. It deserved better than that. Much better than that? No. But enough that, you don't give it... I think it was... let's find out exactly what it was, because it's pretty amusing, actually. 88 Minutes. I mean, it's Al Pacino, Alicia Witt. You watch a movie with those people in it, right? But it was, See what the Rotten Tomatoes score was?
Ooh.
5%.
Ooh.
5%. And the reviewer consensus is 88 Minutes is a shockingly inept psychological thriller that expertly squanders the talent at hand. Now, I can't disagree with that review, but it's better than 5%. I would give it maybe a 20%.
Okay, that review, does that pretty much give you the plot?
You mean because there is no plot? Yeah, because there's nothing that indicates a plot in that review. The story of 88 Minutes is a detective, Al Pacino. He's a forensic detective. And he is for the FBI. And somebody he put away is about to get the chair at midnight. But then on the day that happens, somebody kills somebody in the exact same way that the murder the guy was put in jail for. So they're trying to get him to put off his execution. But Pacino's saying, no, this is the guy that did it. You need to go ahead with the... Well, then Pacino gets a phone call. And it says, you have 88 minutes to live. And every once in a while he gets another call. You have 72 minutes to live. You have... Yeah. And that's kind of hokey.
Don't answer the phone.
And there's one part that's really bad. I don't know why they didn't think of this, but there's some kind of event, cataclysmic event that happens at the FBI station. And he goes out to the parking lot, and his windows are all smashed, and his interior is all torn up. And he looks in the back of the car, and in the due, somebody's written 72 minutes. Now I want to know, how'd they know what time he was going to be there? How did they know that at that particular time he was going to walk out after this cataclysmic event, walk to his car, and see that he still has 72 minutes to live?
I know exactly how.
I can't wait to hear it.
The perpetrator read ahead on the script.
That might be it. movie was I watching recently? Oh, The Dead Don't Die with Bill Murray and was it Cumberbatch? I think it's Benedict Cumberbatch. I'm not sure about that. I better look that up. Anyway, it's a movie about zombies, as you might guess. It's Adam Driver, not Cumberbatch. Adam Driver, and so anyway, it's a zombie movie, as you might guess.
So that's 2 zombie movies Bill Murray's been in.
What was the other one?
Zombieland.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Was Bill Murray in Zombieland?
Yeah, he played the part of an actor. He played the part of Bill Murray, who dresses up as a zombie.
Oh, that's right.
But he's not really a zombie.
That's right. He was actually Bill Murray. He
Until
played himself.
Gets killed.
Yeah, he played himself. That's right. I forgot about that. Well, in The Dead Don't Die, Adam Driver and Bill Murray are being accosted by zombies, and the pressure gets increasing, and finally, Adam Driver, who said this through the entire movie, this isn't going to end well. He keeps saying that from the beginning of the movie to the end. This isn't going to end well. And finally, Bill Murray goes, "Why do you keep saying this isn't going to end well?" And Adam Driver says, "Well, I read the script." And Bill Murray's all, "Well, he didn't give me a copy of the script." And he goes, "Oh, he gave it to me. He only gave me the parts that I read." It's like,
okay,
where did that come from?
What's the release date on that?
The Dead Don't Die is 2019.
When was the first Deadpool movie released?
Who knows? Why?
Because I was going to say, compare the two.
That happens in movies a lot.
I know that.
So you're trying to make. So what you're saying is that Ryan Reynolds, that Bill Murray, or is it Wes Anderson who directed this? Whoever it is, you're saying these filmmakers are thieves.
No.
That's what you're saying.
No. That's what you're saying. I'm saying.
What were you trying to say?
I just comparing the two. It's like I like that
Thieves.
kind of stuff.
That's why you want to know the
I
dates.
like breaking the fourth wall.
I see what you're doing here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they should make a movie
and by
about
the way,
us.
That's the only time they do it in that movie. It's like the rest of the movie, you wouldn't know. Yeah, that microphone doesn't work.
Hey, how about if I do that?
It's not going to make any difference. You'll be.
I know. I'll be doing this.
Anyway, yeah, that was funny when they did that. Did you watch Beverly Hills Cop yet?
Axel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We talked about it last week, didn't
Yeah.
you? Did you watch it before that or after?
After.
Oh, what'd you think?
Before. Or
I don't remember what we talked about last week. I know we talked about it. I don't remember if you'd seen it yet.
yeah, I was disappointed in it. Don't get me wrong. I'm a big Eddie Murphy fan, but they probably shouldn't have made this movie.
Why do you say that? I enjoyed it.
Oh, I did too, but
Okay, so I rest my case. And once again, John's just trying to stir up things.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it, but I hated it.
Well,
I'm very confused, sir.
For the first time. No, not going to go there.
Yeah.
Look up what the tomato thing on Body of Evidence was.
Oh. Well, you're kind of obsessed with that movie.
Because it was so funny.
8%.
My God, it was better
If I
than 88 minutes.
if I did that on Is It As Bad As They Thought It Was, I would say yes. 8% is probably about accurate.
But comparing that rating...
Well, that's what I'm telling you. 88 minutes is way better than Body of Evidence. Yeah. Body of Evidence's sex scenes may be kinky, but the ludicrous concept is further undone by the ridiculous dialogue. It was laughable.
Yeah, and as the cast and crew attest to that screening.
Those of you who don't know, Johnny and I went to a cast and crew screening of that, and the people who made the movie were in there laughing at their own movie in places that you weren't supposed to laugh.
And you and I were trying very hard not to laugh.
We were trying to be professionals.
Yes.
They weren't.
That's true.
Yeah.
We were.
I think sometimes that, and you would know better than I am, sometimes casts and crew members get bitter and they kind of secretly want the movie to fail. I mean, they got paid. They're not getting any part of it. What do they care?
Yeah, that's true.
You know, I remember when I was an extra on a movie called Juvie, decades ago. The cast was the crew more than not the crew more than the cast. They were wandering around talking about how the director was screwing the movie up and it was going to be a piece of garbage and that guy didn't know what he's doing and they should fire him. And I'm like, he's the chief here. He's the director. But they were not happy with him at all. And of course the movie was a piece of crap, but that's because I was in it as an extra. But yeah, so I get that feeling sometimes that crews get bitter and secretly hope their movie tanks.
I worked on a movie similar that it was a piece of you-know-what.
Caca?
Yeah.
Did you want to build on that, or is...
No, because I don't want to give that movie any...
Well, you don't have to give a name. Why do you just explain?
Okay, it was a Christmas-type movie.
Okay.
And like a Christmas miracle type thing. And it just... it's a case of writer, director, producer, actor was trying to do everything. Now, this is at that time, I don't think they had that big of a resume, and this particular movie showed it. I got
to look it up.
Yeah, I'll
write the title down for me.
I will give that to you in a little bit.
No, write it down now. I want to look. I won't say anything.
I can only remember one word from it.
Jaw.
So.
Okay.
Anyway, can we move on?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. There is a movie that was released last year. It's called Hit, 2 words, Hit Man.
Yeah, I saw it.
And remember earlier when I said it was
Is that the Glenn Powell movie? There's been some movie called Hitman.
Yes.
Okay. It was actually released this year, but that's okay. I know it says 23. But it was. I thought it. And if I'm wrong, I apologize. I thought it was made for Netflix, and it was released this year.
And the reason why I bring it up, because before we start, I'm going to the microphone again.
Yeah, and the microphone's way off to his right, folks.
Yeah. Remember earlier, before we actually started, I said it's a rom crimedy.
You really didn't need to repeat that, but yes.
I know. Well, the reason why I said that, because it's a romance, it's crime, and it's a comedy.
Yes.
And I love this.
It's also a true story, so you didn't add a true story in there.
Yeah, okay.
So it's a rom...
Oh, is that on there too?
Rom, crime, true...
No, that's not on this list up here. But it could be.
No, it was. It was based on a true story.
Oh, that I did not know.
Yeah.
A professor moonlighting as a hitman of sorts for his city police department. Descends into dangerous, dubious territory when he finds himself attracted to a woman who enlists his services.
Yes.
Now that's...
Have you seen that movie?
No, I haven't. I didn't even know about it.
Oh, it's excellent.
I got to see this movie.
It is excellent. It is so much fun. It's funny because it is based on a true story, but at the end of the movie they tell you, well, these parts weren't true. We just wanted you to know that. We made those parts up, and that was good. But Glenn Powell, as I've said many times in the show before, he is becoming the next big movie star. I think he's going to keep getting bigger and bigger. Hitman was huge for him because it was huge on Netflix. I'm certain it wasn't a theatrical release. I think it was just directly to Netflix. It was made in 2023, but I don't think it hit Netflix till 2024. Because I just reviewed it a couple of weeks ago on KVTA, and that was like the first weekend it was out. So I may be wrong. Maybe it had a theatrical release that I'm unaware of.
Well, it's got a good director.
It does say now in theaters, so maybe it's in theaters now too. Maybe it's one of those that they released at the same time. But yeah, I watched it on Netflix. But Glenn Powell was, of course, in Top Gun Maverick, where he was a standout on that. He was in that big rom-com hit, Anybody But You, that ended up being way bigger than anybody expected. He did this, Hitman, which is, like you said, a rom-com / crime story / there's some serious stuff in it, too. Because this guy he does capture people by pretending to be a hitman, and, he shows up to meet with them, and they discuss, and they say the magic words, kill, and here's the money, and then the team comes in and arrests him. But he's not a real hitman, of course, but he's fallen in love with this woman, and he can't back out of it at this point because she thinks he's a hitman, and she thinks that's kind of sexy. So it's very, very good. And now Powell is in Twisters. which is already getting rave reviews. Twisters is supposed to be great. Speaking of reviews, and I think this is fascinating, they just screened Deadpool Wolverine. And I've never heard of a studio doing this before, but I think it's kind of interesting. They only screened the first 35 minutes of the movie. And then they said, that's it. That's all you're going to see right now because we don't want any spoilers getting out. Now, I've never heard of a studio only screening part of a movie. Now, I have been to, like, when they thought The Abyss was in trouble. The studio invited us all down and showed us 10 minutes of the movie just to say, look, does this look like it's in trouble? No, it looks like it's awesome. But I've never seen review screenings where they only show you the first 35 minutes because they don't want spoilers getting out. Mm-hmm. Now, this is brilliant for two reasons. And the marketing of this film has been brilliant from day one. It's brilliant because they don't want any spoilers out, right? So what does that do? It means no spoilers get out, true. But it also means the news gets out that something awesome happens in that last hour of the movie, and you want to see it, right?
Yep.
It builds up that thing. So anyway, the reviews for the first 35 minutes, though, are stellar. They said it not only will it continue the Deadpool series' success, that it may save the Marvel Universe. Because he is the Marvel Jesus, you know.
Oh. Now, big question, because I haven't seen really any. I've only seen
all
little
your questions
snippets.
are big questions today.
I
Every time you ask a question, it's a big question.
Oh, okay. I don't know. That's a big question. I don't know. No, this movie, Deadpool Wolverine, is this supposed to be before Wolverine dies like he did in that?
Wolverine doesn't die.
Well, they buried him.
Yeah.
Or did they?
So, he and Deadpool both regenerate. Yeah. So maybe they buried him and he got better.
Could be, because you don't see them actually put him in the ground.
See?
They just show a pile of rocks and the kids
I imagine they will
away.
explain that, and it'll probably be Deadpool looking at the camera going, remember when Wolverine died? Forget that. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I don't know whether it's... I don't think it's a prequel. I think it's just a separate standalone movie, but the idea behind the story was brilliant. It's a good thing that Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds are friends, because that made them work together. Plus, the chemistry is obvious as you watch that. I can't wait to see that. That's going to be they think that movie will do over $200 million in its opening weekend. That's the biggest since when? We haven't had a $200 million opening weekend in forever. Remember when Furiosa was tanking, and everybody was sure that movie theaters were dying? Mm-hmm. And well, that's kind of blown over, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Because Inside Out has made $1 billion. Minions is opening with huge numbers. Mm-hmm. Deadpool's coming up. Twisters is coming up. Those movies are going to be monsters, and it just proves you get the right movies in theaters and people will go see it. Still doesn't explain why Furiosa bombed. I just do not understand it. One of the best movies of the year as far as I'm concerned. A great continuation of the Mad Max universe. I don't know.
I had planned to go see it. Gone.
Yeah, it's already on pay-per-view. So is Horizon.
Yeah,
by the way.
that I did see that in our what I like to call our corner theater.
Yeah.
I mean, even though it is a chain, Regency, it'll always be our little corner
it's
theater.
It's good to support that theater because it's a nice theater to have there. And their projection and their sound isn't epic like it can be at the collection, but it's fine. It's excellent.
And they got those two big, started to say stadiums, those two big theaters.
Yeah.
And it is full. I believe it's fully digital, isn't it?
I think it is. Yeah. But that doesn't mean it's not IMAX. It's not XD. It's just a nice theater.
Oh, I got to put this out there for all you theater operators, especially assistant managers and managers. And I'm leaning into where my microphone would be.
Not working. I
can't help it. It's what do you call it? Yeah. We know somebody that used to work at the Mann Theater, and then I can't remember if he worked there when it became Regency, but it was after they got their the big digital screen theater. After the last movie had shown and all the customers were gone, they played video games on the big screen. So you can do that on a digital theater.
Yes, you can.
I'll bet you that
was my
fun.
son, by the way.
I bet you that was fun.
Yeah, well, I was telling the story yesterday on the Friday Shot Day show because one night he called me. They were. It was a Wednesday night, and they were going to have Jaws as their flashback movie the next day. Mm-hmm. And he said the print had arrived, and he and his buddy, their job was to put it together and watch it from beginning to end to make sure it was in good shape. Because if the print's bad, you got to get a new print before that next day, right? So I told him, it's 9 o'clock, man. I ain't coming out. It's too late, you know. So even though it's Jaws is my favorite movie, so he calls me.
I mean, look at your shirt you're wearing.
I got Jaws on right now. That's true. So at about midnight, he calls me back, wakes me up because I worked back then, and had to be at work at 7. And but he calls me at midnight, and he's all, "Dad, you need to get down here now. This is the best print of Jaws I have ever seen in my life." And I'm all, "Really?" He goes, "It's crystal clear. It's perfect." And I'm all, I just can't, because I should have gone, and I should have called in sick the next day. It would have been worth it. But I didn't. And then he came home that night, and he's all, "Oh my God, that was the best print of Jaws I've ever seen. It was gorgeous." And I wish I'd gone and seen it. But we were talking about, when I worked at the movie theaters, we had cans of reels. And they were 4 or 5 reels to a picture.
And you knew how to load that.
And you had to take them up. You took them to the, well, I'm explaining in too much detail here because our booth was obviously upstairs. We had to carry those cans up the stairs. The projectionist would put the reels on, and they were reels. You put the reel in the projector, and it's just a reel of film. And it would run for about 20 minutes or so. And then you had to look for the bug. You know what the bug is? Mm. In the upper right-hand, you can still see these on prints from TV and stuff. In the upper right-hand corner of the film, this little flash appears, like a little hole in the film. Mm-hmm. And it flashes. And that's when you know it's time to start the second projector with the second reel. So if you matched it up perfectly, the audience never knew you switched projectors. So while that second projector was showing the second reel, you would unload the first reel and put the third reel on, and back and forth. That's when I first started working at movie theaters. Then they went to the platter system. And the platter system was the same concept, but instead of having reels, you still got reels and cans, but you had to splice the movie together and put the whole movie on a platter. That way, you start the movie, 2 hours later, you start it over again. It just, because it automatically rewound to the bottom. But you didn't have to worry about watching for that bug, because it was all on one thing. Then, of course, they went to digital. And the thing that was different about digital when we first got digital is we had to wait every night. Well, not every night we were changing movies, for the satellite to finish downloading. Mm-hmm. And if the satellite didn't download, you didn't have a movie. So we had to wait for the satellite to download the movie. And sometimes it wouldn't work. And you're waiting, it's 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. And you're like, oh my God. But that's what you had to do. Nowadays, I understand they deliver hard drives with codes on them. You have to have the code in order to access the hard drive. Mm-hmm. So that makes sense too, because, and I can't imagine how big a feature film file is. I mean, the little shows that we do here are 2 or 3 gigs, and they're 720. Those are at least 1080, if not more, probably 4K and better. So I can't imagine how big that file's got to be. The file's got to be huge. So,
well, what I didn't realize, or if I did, I totally forgot, which is entirely possible.
Yes,
more likely than not. I just presumed that because it's digital, you got like a CD disc.
Sometimes they do that. They started with DVD. They went to Blu-ray.
That's what I meant, DVD.
Even these days, when they have flashback movies, a lot of time they're on Blu-ray discs, and that can be a problem because, as I said, when I paid $15 to see RoboCop at a flashback Thursday, the ratio was off the whole movie, and it didn't look right. It's like, why am I paying $15 to watch a Blu-ray that's the ratio is wrong on? Mm-hmm. It bothered me. I never went back because of that. I don't know that they still do that for sure because it's so much easier to do a hard drive, but they might. If you can run a Blu-ray on it, why? And it looked fine, except for the fact the ratio off. It looked fine. So, But yeah, it's and I can't imagine DVD. I know that's what they used, but the DVD quality is just not that great. Being broadcast on the screen like that. Blu-ray, okay. DVD, but I know they did.
I have a question for you, sir.
Is it a big question?
Yes.
Okay.
Who is your favorite English actor from the 60s and 70s?
Yeah, I can't answer that question. I can give you a couple. Okay. Michael Caine.
Okay, stop.
First one that popped in my head.
Yep. I learned something this week about Michael Caine and his wife, who he's been married to for a really long time. He was in England, and him and his buddy, he was watching a TV show, and this commercial came on for a coffee product. And he got smitten by the actress who was doing the commercial. And he turned to his buddy and he said, I need to meet this woman. And he spent months trying to track down this woman. He finally got hold of the makers of the product. See how I'm not trying to mention the... Can I mention the product?
Why not?
It's Maxwell House.
I don't mention them.
Oh, man. Anyway, so he finally got hold of them, and they said, well, it was a Brazilian actress. So...
Wait a minute. He didn't ask her about their haircut.
Funny.
Probably should cut that out.
Yeah. So anyway, he's making plans to go to Brazil because he wants to meet this actress.
And because he's Michael Caine and can.
Yeah, exactly. And gets hold of, or he has his people get hold of certain people. He says, oh, no, she lives in England. So anyway, he finally meets her. They got married, and they've been married for like, I don't know, 25, 30 years, if not more.
Let's find out.
And she's a gorgeous lady. I can't remember what her name is. But I thought that is a beautiful love story.
It is. That's a good story.
And Michael Caine is one of my favorite actors.
His wife's name is Shakira Caine, and she's been his wife since 1973. So happy 51st anniversary to them. That even beats me. It's my 40th anniversary this year. That's pretty impressive. So, yeah, I love Michael Caine, and I knew these movies, but I didn't realize that they were a series. Do you know his Harry Palmer character?
Yes.
See, I didn't. I knew the movies individually, but I never thought that they were tied together as a Harry Palmer series. So there's the Ipcris File, which of course I knew, which I have a poster for at home, by the way. No, hold on. You got to be careful. I'm looking at the wrong things. The Ipcris File was the first one from 1965. The second was Funeral in Berlin from 1966. There was Billion Dollar Brain in 1967. There's one we're skipping because it's not Michael Caine. And then in 1995, he did Bullet to Beijing. And in 1996, Midnight in St. Petersburg. So 30 years after he created that character, he returned to do the movies. I've seen the Ipcris File. I don't think I've seen any of the other ones.
I think two of my favorite movies by him is the original Italian Job.
Classic movie.
Oh, love that movie. And
the remake was pretty good too.
Yeah, and there's a scene in the remake where they're going to the guy who pretty much screwed them out of the millions. And he's got this big screen TV, and it's showing a Michael Caine movie. And the only thing that I thought was they should have done, yes, show a Michael Caine movie, but show a Michael Caine Italian Job movie. That would have been really cool.
That would have been funny, yeah.
But my other favorite movie with him is Shaka Zulu. And I think one of the reasons I really liked that movie was because I got to do a dialogue script for that. It was a good, long movie. Good movie.
I think
and it was
Zulu.
hard.
Just Zulu is the title.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe there's another one that came out called Shaka Zulu.
Maybe. Look how young he is there.
Yeah.
I would share this with you folks if we were on video, but today we are not, sadly. So.
And then he's been in. He's played Alfred in a couple of the Batman movies.
There was a Shaka Zulu movie.
Or just Shaka.
Dr. Shaka. Shaka Zulu, The Last Great Warrior, 2001.
Oh, okay.
So, why did you think of Michael Caine?
I don't know. Because
Out of the ether?
Yeah, that's it.
I love Michael Caine. I think he's one of the greats of all time. And I don't know if he's still working or not. He's 91. But knowing him, if something comes away, he'll do it. He'll probably do another Harry Palmer film the way it goes. I'm going to have to look those up. I'm going to have to watch all of those, probably in order. And I don't know if it matters or not.
I wonder if he was ever approached to do a character in any of the Harry Potter movies.
I don't know. I'm stunned that he wasn't, because they used all those great British actors.
Mm-hmm. He would have been great.
Despite Kane's proclivity to mix up genre, tone, and role, he never appeared in a single Harry Potter movie. It seems like he would have been perfect as Hogwarts professor or even a villainous Death Eater. Perhaps Kane's well-known Cockney accent got in the way of his chances. Wizarding world worthy? You know what? I don't believe that. I think if Michael Caine wanted to do that, they would have said, yes, please come aboard.
Oh, yeah.
Cockney accent or not. I mean, he's Michael friggin' Caine, for crying out loud.
I mean,
more likely they couldn't afford him.
Well, that could be it too. But I mean, there were some really great movies out there that some really good actors just, I don't want to be, that's not going to go anyplace. And the movie actually did do good.
Oh, that happens a lot. Yeah, that happens a lot.
I mean, Sean Connery was one. And he elected to do...
I love Sean Connery's story about that.
Oh, yeah.
They offered him The Matrix. Mm-hmm. He read the script. I don't understand it. I'm not doing it. Matrix became The Matrix. Mm-hmm. They offered him Lord of the Rings. He goes, I read the script. I didn't understand it. Passed on it. Became Lord of the Rings. Then they offered him the Gentleman of... What's the name of that movie?
I'm getting that confused with that.
The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. And he read the script. And he didn't understand it. But he said, I'm going to take it anyway. And then, of course, that one bombed. So...
What was that movie he did where he was the voice of a dragon? Not to be confused with Cumberbatch's turn as a dragon, the voice of a dragon.
Well, I tell you, but it looks like the internet just went out again.
Oh,
so
no.
Perfect. Yeah, we're done. I know what you're talking about. I've seen it, and he was a great dragon voice.
Yeah,
he worked out very good there. So, okay. So closing out here, I just want to remind everybody that. Before we close out, I saw the Rolling Stones on Wednesday night.
Oh, I was going to ask you about that.
Went down to the SoFi Theater. That movie was called Dragonheart, by the way. SoFi Theater, never been down there before. Stadium, it's a 70,000 seat stadium. There were probably 20,000 seats empty because they were behind the stage, but the place was basically full. They're playing there tonight. Again, by the way, they filled up 3 nights there at SoFi Stadium because they are in fact the Rolling Stones. There's a reason that band is legendary. Mick Jagger's 81 years old, and he's out there. He sounds perfect. He's perhaps a tad less energetic than he used to be, but most of the time you don't know it. When he goes, they have this, 150-foot extension from the stage that runs out into the audience. Mm-hmm. He would walk out there and do a song or whatever, and then he would skip back. It was just wild, you know. But his voice and everything is just incredible. I understand that he's 5'10", which is about my height, mm-hmm. and he weighs 130 pounds. Which is like half my weight.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he's always been
rail thin. I know, and that's part of he's got a huge workout routine that he does, mm-hmm. and what have you. But anyway, he was great. Keith Richards was great. They let Keith do 3 songs in a row from albums that he'd sung mm-hmm. on and his solo albums, so that was kind of fun. Ronnie Woods was the one that blew me away, though. That guy he is on fire as far as energy is concerned. I don't know how old Ronnie is, but he was just rocking it. And the new drummer, Robert Jordan.
I was going to ask you about the drummer.
Oh my, he is truly amazing. He's been a legendary drummer for a long time because he's a session drummer, mm-hmm. you know. But all the big names hire him. Well, when the Rolling Stones call, what do? You go on tour with the Rolling Stones. Ronnie Wood is everything there but his age, 77. So he's a youngster.
Oh, he's a youngster. Yeah, I can just see it now. The Stones, especially Mick and Keith, well, Keith definitely, they're going to be pushing 100, and they're going to come out in their wheelchairs. And they're going to do all that crazy stuff in wheelchairs.
I was trying to see who his female vocalist was. I think he called her Janine, but I'm not sure. She was awesome. You should have heard that woman sing. She just nailed it. And there was one song where she and Mick were singing like a duet almost. I think it was the new song about heaven. And it was mind-blowing. And when they were all done, they were coming back off that extension of the stage I told you about, and you could see Mick was exhausted. He just sang his heart out on that song. But it was a great show all the way around. Here's the thing. They're the Rolling Stones. They can afford any kind of stage they want. Their stage was gorgeous. You know how you go to a concert and they have the big TV screens up in the corner so you can see what's going on? The entire stage was a screen. The whole thing was the TV screen. So you could watch everything from just there. It was incredible. And like I said, the sound quality was great. The one thing I will say about SoFi Stadium is that it's expensive, of course. We got 2 cocktails. They were doubles, $50. That ain't cheap. No, $50 for the pair. That ain't cheap, but it's not crazy either. The food's about $20 no matter what you get, $15, $20. And when we first arrived there, I ran into a friend of mine, Laura Knox. Been a friend for a long time. She was at the show too. She says, don't eat the fish and chips. Don't eat this. Don't eat that. They're all terrible. And we're okay, so we'll stay away from that stuff. So we got a pizza, and it was basically doughy breadsticks with tomato sauce and cheese. It's like, oh, this wasn't very good. And so, okay, let's get something else. So we walk halfway around the stadium, and it's a giant stadium, and we find a Mexican place. So we order a bean and cheese and rice burrito. We walk all the way back to our seats, and we open up the burrito and cut it in half, and it's chili relleno burrito. Well, Shelley can't eat chili. Any chili is bad for her, right? So there's a sticker on it that said bean, rice, and cheese. So put it back. We trundle all the way back to the other side of the stadium. The girl was very apologetic. She was super nice. Everybody down there was very nice. And we get the burrito. We take it back. We open it up. Oh, it's bean, rice, and cheese. And it sucked.
Did she at least let you keep the first one?
No. I wish I didn't ask for it. But I would have eaten it. It looked better than the bean, rice, and cheese one we got.
Probably tasted better, too.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But, so my point is, and somebody told us, when they have a big show now in LA at the Forum and the SoFi Stadium, and there's another stadium there as well, and the casinos there, they're all in this group. As you can imagine, that's a lot of people. So the city, I believe, hires, I don't want to call them security guards, but courtesy guards, let's call them that.
Okay.
And they're on every corner.
Ambassadors.
That's probably a good word for it. And every one of them, and we talked to 6 or 7 of them, everyone was super nice and super friendly. But you walk up to a crosswalk, and they greet you, and they ask you, where you're going. They offer some suggestions, and then when the light changes, they escort you across the street.
Nice.
It was very nice. And we were walking to a place, I don't remember the name of it, but it was a bar. And we told her we were going there. She goes, don't go there. She goes, it's always too busy. It's hot in there. If I was you, I would go to the casino and sit at the bar. The casino's clean. It's cool. It's not as busy as that place is going to be. And, that's what I would do. And we're like, well, okay. But we kind of wanted to go to the bar. So we went to the bar, and guess what? It was hot. It was too busy. There was no place to sit. So, okay, we're going to walk across the street to the casino. So we walk across the street to the casino, and there's construction going on at the casino. So there's this chain link fence that apparently went completely around the casino because we couldn't find a way in. Like, how did it get in here? I couldn't figure it out.
You helicopter in.
Yeah. So finally we got frustrated. We gave up, and we called Uber. This is the funniest part. And we got an Uber driver to take us back to the SoFi Stadium. So I look it up, it's $9. I go, oh, $9, that ain't bad. I thought it'd be surge pricing or something at this point. So the guy found us, which was great because there's no rhyme or reason to where they can pick you up there. It was kind of luck that he found us. And he drives us from the outside of the casino about 2 blocks over to the back end of the SoFi. It's like, oh, it's right here? We had no idea. So we were glad for the air conditioning, and we were glad for the guy was very nice as well. In fact, the ride was $9, and I gave him a $5 tip because it was like, come on. But that was interesting. The other interesting thing is, and we'll end on this, I promise, folks. You get to the stadium, and there's like this outdoor park. There's a little lake, and there's sidewalks and benches and all this stuff. And there are dozens of salespeople out there, peddlers. And they're selling everything from Rolling Stones bootleg T-shirts to hot dogs and hamburgers to burritos and drinks. You want a shot of tequila? What? Got a cooler full of tequila. They're all airline bottles. You know, I'm like, this is odd. How do they do this legally? Well, it can't be legal, obviously. So, but there were dozens of them there. I mean, dozens. And selling everything you can possibly imagine. It was just weird. And I've always wanted to get a hot dog off one of those carts because they smell so good. But I don't want to spend the next day in the hospital getting my stomach pumped. Yeah. So I didn't do it. But anyway, it was an interesting trip.
So what do? You get food from SoFi Stadium and end up having to have your stomach pumped anyway.
Go to the casino, like she said, if we'd listened to her in the first place. And if you can find the entrance to the casino. I swear, we walked 3/4 around. There was no opening. It's like, okay, forget it. It's not.
It was probably in that last quarter.
I'm sure it was. But at that point, you're like, I've had enough of this, So that's what we did. Anyway, that's it for this week's folk shows. That's it for this week's show, folks.
We did a folk show.
Thank you for listening, as always. I'll post this on both the YouTube and on Spreaker, but the YouTube app obviously will have no video because we had some serious issues here today that I just don't understand. I'm very confused by it all. But we'll figure it out. Anyway, we'll see you next week. What will we be talking about next week?
This week.
I want to see Maxine. So I might go see Maxine this week at some time.
I don't know what that one is.
It's the third movie with horror movie in a series that started out with X, and then the second one, which I've forgotten, and then Maxine is the third one. They're not really sequels. They're just different movies set in the same kind of... They all have the theme of somebody who wants to be a star and screws it up somehow or another.
Because as soon as you said Maxine, my first thought was Maxie and Me, which I saw that movie back in the 80s, I guess, and I thoroughly enjoyed that movie. It was with Glenn Close and Mandy Patinkin.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't know why you think that would be...
Well, you said Maxine, and that was the first thing that popped into my head was Maxie and Me.
Oh, the second movie was Pearl. X was the first one, and that was about these filmmakers who go to make a porno movie in an old cabin deep in the hills of somewhere.
Cabin in the woods.
And somebody doesn't like it. Pearl is the next one, and it was about a young woman who wants to be a star and doesn't happen, and she's not happy about that. And Maxine is the new one, and it's Ty West is the director, and he does a great job with those. And Mia Goth is a star, and she nails it out of the park. There's a scene at the end of Pearl that if you're not creeped out by that, you're not human. It is utterly bizarre. Just it's beneath the end credits, folks. So if you watch Pearl, just watch her act behind the end credits. It is terrifying, and nothing really happens, but there's madness there. It's pretty crazy.
I got to tell you, and this probably goes back to the earliest days I can think of would be the Bond movies. At the end of the Bond movies, they wouldn't show you scenes of upcoming Bond or
of course not, because they hadn't been made.
But it would show you
James Bond will return.
Yes, in such and such.
Thunderball, whatever.
So I would say that's what started me always waiting till the end of the credits. No, what really started me watching the end of the credits was from working in the business. I'm always looking for people's names I know, people that I've worked with. And then I don't know if it was Marvel or somebody else started doing...
Marvel made it a thing. Yeah. Other films had done it, but Marvel made it a thing, yeah.
So you see scenes that weren't in the movie, but should have been in the movie.
Or you see... Yeah, exactly. Or you see things that are designed for that there. So, all right, that's it, folks. We are out of here. We'll be back next week. Hopefully the video will be up and running. But I can't make any promises, so...
Before you go?
Yes?
For breakfast, you want to go to Harbor Cove Cafe. For cocktails later, you might want to...
Wait. Stop.
Okay, I'm stopping.
Why can't you have a cocktail with breakfast?
Well, that's
they have delicious Bloody Marys.
I know, that's implied.
Not when you said later.
For an evening cocktail. You didn't let me finish.
You can go to the Harbor Cove Cafe and have breakfast. I guess breakfast could include a cocktail.
Yeah.
I'll grant you that.
I mean...
That's not what you meant, but I'll grant you that.
Oh, okay. I mean, I've had ham and eggs in a can many times. That's
That's
beer.
disgusting.
I know that it's a beer.
Why is it ham and eggs in a can?
Because whenever we used to go up to Lone Pine for the races and be early in the morning, you pop a beer because it's so hot. And so, you drinking? Yeah, it's ham and eggs in a can. That's how we came up with that.
I don't understand that at all.
Okay, anyway. Yeah, you'd have to...
Beer is basically liquid bread.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you say
Okay,
toast and
ham and eggs and biscuits in a can.
Okay.
But, and then later, if you happen to be downtown Ventura, check out The Grape.
You should check out The Grape. And we'll be playing an ad for that right now. So thanks again, folks. We'll see you next week.
Hey, bye.
Brought to you by The Grape, Ventura County's premier jazz venue and cocktail lounge. Located at 2733 East Main Street in Ventura. For menu and music schedule, visit them online at thegrape.club. This has been a Rough Edge Studios production.